Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Muhammad Hassan. I'm an engineer currently pursuing my master's in the field of microwave engineering. Have you ever felt that the reason you fail to achieve your goal or get something done is because you lack motivation? The famous quote that you'll be hearing from your friend and mostly from yourself is that I failed to do that work because I lack motivation in doing that work. And we always tend to blame motivation for our failure. And when we look at successful people around us, we look at them and say, wish I had motivation like that guy. What if I tell you that you have misunderstood the concept of motivation and you actually do not need motivation to achieve your goal or get your things done? I came across this amazing book named The Motivational Myth, How High Achievers Really Set Themselves Up to Win, written by Jeff Haden, which beautifully explains the concept of motivation and how our misconception about motivation is actually stopping us from achieving our goal. The first concept that Jeff talks about in his book is that motivation is not the spark. We think that motivation is a force or influence that is required before starting any work, and without motivation, that work can be very difficult and hard to achieve. Jeff says in his book that most people are confused about the source of motivation. They think that motivation is the spark that automatically produces lasting eagerness to do hard work. The greater the motivation, the more effort you are willing to put in. That's the reason when you find yourself demotivated to do your work, what do? You open YouTube, jump into your search engine and start finding some motivational quote or motivational video that will help you to charge up. But that kind of motivation actually do not take you very far. Yes, that motivation will charge you up temporarily, maybe for 1 to 2 days, and then you're back to your normal routine of demotivation. I have certainly gone through this experience and I hope you have gone through this experience too. Now my question is, why this kind of motivation doesn't actually work? Jeff says in his book that motivation isn't passive, motivation is active. That's the reason speeches doesn't provide lasting motivation, because it's passive. You are not actually doing any kind of work in moving towards the goal that you have set forward for yourself. Whereas doing active work will provide you the motivation that is required to achieve your goal. Jeff explains this by saying that motivation is a result. Motivation is the pride you take in work you have already done, which fuels your willingness to do even more. Therefore, from this we understand that motivation is actually internally generated. That is, we don't require to find motivation from external agent, and we also don't require motivation before the start of any kind of work. It is only when we start doing our work, we see progress. When we see progress, then we become happy, and that happiness gets converted into motivation, which then actually pushes you to do more work. When you start doing more work, you'll see more progress, and which will again make you more happy, and that happiness will again convert into motivation, which will again help you to push or do the work that is required to achieve your goal. So this is the cycle that Jeff talks about in his book, which is very, very important, and this is how high achievers set themselves up to achieve their goal. When I first came across this concept of motivation, it just blew my mind. It opened so many doors for me and started doing so different kinds of work, because I now understood that actually we don't require motivation to start any kind of work. We start doing the work and automatically motivation will kick in, and this will actually help you to live more happier and productive life, which will ultimately convert into success and achievement. Now, since you have understood that motivation comes from doing active work and seeing progress, the next thing that he talks about in this book is how to progress that will lead to success. Jeff says in his book that in order to make a successful progress, you need to first set a goal and then forget about the goal. Now, this statement of forgetting the goal is a bit weird if you listen it for the first time, but hold on, it will make sense. This is one of the reasons why most of us fail to achieve our goal, because focusing on the goal is not the most important thing, and it will demotivate you if you constantly focus on your goal. So hold on, and I'll explain this part further down the video, so don't worry. He says that the main problem for setting a huge goal lies much less with caring and much more in simple words, here and there. The word here indicates the position from where you are actually starting, and the word there indicates the goal where you want to reach. For example, suppose you want to lose 40 pounds of your weight, and this week you manage to lose only 1 pound of your weight. Then the distance between here and there is actually huge. How defeating is that? The distance between your dream and the stark reality of the present is incredibly demoralizing. Therefore, if you constantly focus on your goal and compare it with your current situation, it will demotivate you, because the distance between here and there is huge, as a result of which you will give up on your goal. And this is the cycle that the failures fall into, and this is the thing you need to avoid. The statement I absolutely love where he explains this by saying that thinking about goal is like thinking about winning the lottery. You get to dream big, and imagine yourself living a totally different life. Yet all those imaginations are worthless without a process to help us achieve them. A dream once born quickly dies without a process to support it. Then a dream turns into a regret, and all of us already have too many of those. He wraps up this concept by saying that forgetting the goal actually unleashes the power of motivation and feedback. So the next question is, what is the actual purpose of the goal then? This question takes us to the next theme of the book, which says your goal should always choose your process. I hope you have heard this statement that in order to attain something big or achieve something great, you need to dream big or set big goals. But that's not actually true. It is not limited to that only. It's not the goal that makes you successful, but rather it's the process behind that goal that makes you absolutely successful. Now, many people have the same goal, but few of them achieve what they want to achieve. The simple reason for their failure is that their goals were not backed up by a good process or a system. Now, the next question is, what is a process or a system? A system or a process is a daily routine that you need to establish in order to move forward to achieve your goal. Once you have set up the process, then you need to follow that process without a failure. And that should be your mantra. If you can do that, then you can forget your goal and you can just follow the process, and it will take you to your final destination without you even thinking about the final destination. And since you are not constantly focusing on your goal, therefore the chances of demotivation will be very, very less, as I've explained earlier. And he explains this concept of following the process without focusing on the goal with various examples in the book. You need to check that. It's amazing. One of the live example that I can give you is that I have set a goal that I need to type at 80 words per minute without looking into the keyboard in order to increase productivity. So I've set that goal. Now my next step is to establish a process or a system that will take me towards my goal. So the system that I have built for myself is that I need to type 15 to 20 minutes every day without a failure, and that's my mantra. And once I've established this process or system, then I can absolutely forget about my goal without focusing too much on the goal. I just focus on the day-to-day process or the system. And I started measuring my progress after every week, and I must say that I progressed towards my goal every week without a failure. And since I was progressing, I was happy, and this happiness was actually motivating me to repeat the cycle of that process. After trying this process for around 4 weeks, I am now around 40 words per minute. That is, I can type without looking into the keyboard at the rate of 40 words per minute, which is damn good. And now I know that if I just carry on this process, a day will come where I'll be typing at a speed of 80 words per minute without any doubt. So this is what the book explains, that you need to work, and that work will push you towards progress, and that progress will make you happy, and that happiness will create motivation to do more work. This is how I move towards my goal in achieving it. The concept that this book talks about absolutely works. Now I don't have to look for motivation before starting any kind of work. I just set a goal and then establish a process or system, and then strictly follow that process or system, and then start measuring my small wins or small progress. This small progress gives me happiness and enjoyment, and this happiness and enjoyment actually gives me the required lasting motivation that I actually needed to achieve my goal. This book talks about much more things with various examples, but this is the core concept behind the book, the motivational myth. Yeah, this is all for this video. If you enjoyed this video and if you feel like this video added some kind of value to your life, then please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, then please consider doing so, and I will catch you all in my next video. Till then, bye bye.